So my name is Elizabeth. I'm your moderator for today. Welcome. Before we begin, I'd just quickly like to acknowledge that we are on the unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, the traditional home of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. So if you do have questions at all throughout this session, please type them in the chat and include your program of interest. The way this is going to go is you're going to hear a series of short presentations from our staff here. We're going to hear from an advisor, and then we'll open it up to a Q&A at the end. Please stay towards the end of the presentation. We are going to give you a special code that you can use, and you can use that to win $1,000 towards your tuition. Okay, so with that, the question and answer we'll do later. I'd like to start off a quick poll. So when are you considering starting your program? All right, a couple this year, next year, and one unsure. We'll address some of that a little bit later when we are taking questions. If you want to know more about how to, start your application this year, line up everything you have for next year, or if you are unsure, we can answer some of your questions. Okay, so to kick it off, we'd like to invite our head of auto collision and refinishing to speak about his area. We're gonna invite Keith Mew to the stage here to talk about his program. So take it away, Keith.
Hi, everyone. My name is Keith Mew. As Liz mentioned, I am the department head of the auto collision and refinishing department. One question you might ask is, what exactly is auto collision and refinishing? Well, it's sometimes more commonly referred to as bodywork or auto body work and painting. Basically, this is the act of taking a damaged vehicle that has been in some sort of collision and then repairing it and making it look like it was never in that collision to begin with. One of the best ways to start off into this industry is actually to come and to take one of our foundation programs. So starting in September, we will be offering a auto collision and refinishing foundation program, which gives you the base foundation of both trades. So within, auto collision and refinishing, we really do separate those two out into different specialties. Auto collision is more repairing panels, maybe fixing dents, taking parts on and reinstalling them onto the vehicle. And refinishing is restoring corrosion protection, reapplying the paint and matching it to the existing finish, making the repair seamless and essentially invisible when it's done. This trade, if you get into auto collision, is a 4-year apprenticeship. That means it takes 4 years to complete, and the refinishing is a 2-year apprenticeship. So what's really fantastic about the foundation program that we're offering, it's new to 2021. We used to separate these two foundation programs, and now we've combined them into one 35-week program. The real benefit of this is after you've completed that foundation program, you get credited for the first year of apprenticeship in both trades. So you can really, come take this foundation program, get a general knowledge of both sides of the trade, and then really make your decision after that first year. Once you've done that, you would then go out, get a job at an auto collision shop, a repair facility, try to get them to sponsor you as an apprentice. And then you can come back every year and take apprenticeship training, which we offer in an apprenticeship course. Like I said, a collision is a 4-year, so you'd come back for level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And refinishing is only 2 years. So you would only come back one more time, and then you would be fully certified as a painter. One question that we sometimes get is, who would be a good fit for auto collision and refinishing? And one thing, that keeps coming up is, anyone with a passion for cars, first of all, but that has a very strong artistic sense is a really valuable thing to have. So, when you're getting into auto collision and you start to fix dents, a lot of times you're using materials and products and you're doing things that is almost like sculpting. When you get into painting, you're dealing with matching a lot of colors, you're mixing a lot of colors. So if you have that background in painting or something that you are passionate about, we find that those interests really relate well to our trade. The other thing is, in auto collision, we do learn a lot about metal fabrication, welding, manipulation of metal. So anybody who likes to create and build really tends to do well in our programs. Another question you may ask is, after I take this foundation course, where can I go and what kind of career can I pursue after that? Well, the first obvious one is you could carry on with your apprenticeship, become Red Seal certified and a journey person, and work in an auto collision shop, either as a auto collision technician or a painter. But you could also get into more customization. There's shops that specialize in hot rods and restoration, taking, old vintage vehicles and restoring them till they look almost brand new. You could also get into working on semi-trucks and transportation vehicles. There's Coast to Mountain buses that does all of the city buses. All of these things need to be coated and painted, and they always get damaged, so they always need to be repaired. After that, you can even get into coating larger machinery, construction machinery, or get into aircraft. A background in auto collision really relates well to the aircraft industry in painting airplanes and helicopters. And we've even had people that work in that own cabinetry shops looking for people who have experience spraying that can actually coat cabinetry and other furniture. So, a lot of areas where you can kind of branch off into once you've gotten that base foundation and really mastered some of the skills that we teach you in our foundation program. There's always things that are being created, and they always need to be coated to protect them from corrosion, as well as to make them look beautiful. So that's really what we specialize in and what we teach in our programs.
Wow, thanks so much, Keith. Very, very informative. And of course, feel free to ask questions in the chat. We'll respond to those later on in the session. So thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Greg Henderson, who's going to talk about the Auto Service Technician program at VCC. Greg, over to you.
Just unmuting myself here. Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Greg Henderson. I am the department head for the Automotive Service Technician program here at VCC. Like Keith said, our trades are similar but different. Our program's very similar in hours, and the apprenticeship is a 4-year apprenticeship, just like theirs, except for, of course, we deal with basically all of the components between the bumper. So between the bumper and the rear bumper, the front and rear, is everything mechanical and electrical that goes on with your vehicle. And we do all of the repairs, warranty work if you're working at a dealership, service work if you're just dealing with regular things that wear out and need maintaining, as well as major overhauls from everything from transmissions to any new hybrid technologies. We're even dealing with things like hydrogen powered cars now. So we're repairing pretty much everything from the bumper to the bumper. You have to have a keen knowledge in electrical nowadays because everything is going electrical. I find that most of the technicians nowadays that are coming out of our programs, they're very knowledgeable already going in because they're young people generally, and we seem to have a lot of young folks that are into the electrical side of things before they even get into our programs, because they've been dealing with everything from computer games to computer programming and stuff in high school. So there's usually a bit of they've already got a bit of a head start as far as getting into the electrical portion of our programs. But where can these skills kind of take you? Well, in our trade, like Keith's, we deal from everything from personal vehicles to fleet maintenance to school boards. We even have technicians that have gone into BC Ferries that do fleet maintenance for the BC Ferries, perhaps the Canadian Armed Forces, maintaining vehicles, anything from a Jeep to a tank. Obviously, they've got their own programs as well, but you can see that it's quite vast in where you can end up. In our case, you're always hoping in the end to produce that red seal ticket, which is Keith mentioned briefly on your apprenticeship program is generally 4 years, and once you receive your 4 years of training, you go for a red seal ticket in the end, and that's what everyone wants, is that in their back pocket so they can go and work harmoniously between province to province, because our trade is harmonized, which means we can take the technical training from British Columbia and go across Canada. And the technical training that we get here in BC is similar, almost verbatim across Canada. So what you do here is applicable across Canada. So if you want to move back east, you can, and your technical training here will parlay into that. So again, I know that later we can drop into the chat room the cost portion of our courses. Everything from foundation training, which is entry-level training, which is 8-month course, as well as our apprenticeship courses, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and as well as we have international diploma courses, which is a 2-year diploma course. It typically tends to lend itself to international students, but not necessarily. And I'll be looking forward to answering any questions you have for us. I think that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much, Greg. And it's great that you kind of mentioned a little bit the differences between auto service technician and then auto collision and refinishing. Sometimes we get a couple questions about that. So I see a couple questions going on in the chat, and it's really great. Thank you so much to everyone who's responding to these questions, and thanks so much for the questions as well. They're really good questions. Michelle, I think we can talk later in the discussion, but yes, there are a few female students in the program, as Keith mentioned, and we can talk a little bit more about that as well. There's a couple of alumni who have done really, really well. And I think later on, what we can do is also discuss a little bit more, touch on the differences between, again, auto collision and auto service technician. So thanks to both of you. And then we have one more program we'd like to share with you. It's called the Heavy Mechanical Trades Program. Today we have Brendan Frith, who's here to talk about that. So Brendan, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brendan Frith, Department Head for the Heavy Mechanical Trades Program, and we operate out at a different campus on Annacis Island. So what is heavy mechanical trades then? Well, we train mechanics or technicians, whichever you prefer to be called, much like Greg does. But our mechanics work on heavy equipment and large truck and transport, trucks and transport trailers. So I think it's important to note that the equipment we work on is large and heavy, but with training and tooling that's common in the industry, the mechanics seldom lift anything heavier than they would in their everyday lives. So, you know, heavy really refers to the machines and the equipment and not to the work. You know, these large trucks, machines, they're designed to perform work and make money in very competitive industries. So they use state-of-the-art technology to perform very efficiently and safely out there. So the mechanics today, Greg mentioned it as well, you know, they'll use a lot of skills in electronics and electrical. And in fact, students who come here with a keen interest in that find they do well throughout the program, and they also do very well once they get out into the industry. So it is very technical, but it's a very active job. It's a very, very interesting job. These machines work in a broad range of industries out there. So, you know, it's very interesting. Skills you learn can take you from industry to industry to industry. Many of our apprentices will move jobs 2 or 3 times throughout their 4-year apprenticeship, and just to gain different experience. And so lots of employment opportunities in that way. So the industries that use heavy equipment and transport trucks, they need trained, skilled people to maintain that equipment and make sure that it performs reliably. Remember that this equipment and these trucks are making money. They can't afford to have them breaking down unexpectedly. When they break down, it means that nobody's making money. So they need those same skilled people to quickly diagnose and repair when unexpected breakdowns happen. So those skills, your knowledge, your training, and your experience, that's worth, it's very valuable out there in industry, and the wages represent that. People that do the repairs out there, heavy mechanical trades is break down into 4 trades. 3 of them are Red Seal. Greg made reference to that. The Red Seal certification, Journey Person certification, gives you credentials across Canada. So your skills are recognized across Canada. So of the 4 trades that we train for here, the first is heavy equipment technician. They'll work predominantly on off-road equipment. So commonly what you might see around would be construction equipment these days, building roads, repairing roads, site prep for large buildings. So all those things working in dirt, but it could be railroads and others. And I'll list off some other industries here in a minute. The second trade is the truck and transport mechanic. They work on predominantly on-highway equipment. So the large transport trucks that are all over the Lower Mainland. And not just the large ones that towing trailers, but right down to your common delivery trucks that run about and do the daily deliveries throughout the city. So the industry covers, you know, a broad range of transport trucks as well. The third trade is the transport trailer mechanic, and they'll focus mostly on the trailers. So trailers include everything you see from deck trucks carrying lumber and products like that, to transport trailers, ones that enclosed refrigerated trailers. So these mechanics know all about refrigeration, are trained in that. And everything for more industrial trailers as well, and tankers. So that's a very large industry in the Lower Mainland as well. With the ports here, we have a tremendous amount of truck traffic and a lot of employment opportunities with that. The final trade, 4th trade, we'll trade here is a diesel engine mechanic. And they specialize in good old diesel engines. And again, there's a lot of opportunity here with our marine. They'll do a lot of marine work. A lot of the larger industrial vessels in the port and up and down the coast are all powered by diesel engines. They maintain a lot of power generation, and we have a lot of standby generators, hospitals, large buildings, whatnot. They have diesel engines there. So there's a lot of work in that as well. So we have a foundation program, 36 weeks long, provides entry-level employment skills for a wide range of employers in industries such as I mentioned, road and site construction, city, public works, cities and municipalities, equipment rentals. So these places you can rent everything from lawn maintenance equipment right up to small excavators and dirt handling equipment. They employ a lot of heavy mechanical trades, crane, aerial lifts, all the construction you see, all the workers, construction workers today will use the aerial lift or the man lift, they call them. Okay, lots of work in that industry. Public transit, our mechanics work for TransLink, servicing all the city buses. Truck and equipment dealers, okay, all the transport trucks, there's a dealer just like there's car dealers, and there's equipment dealers for all the different equipment, okay? As well as our traditional industries. Traditional in British Columbia was mining, was forestry, and we still get a great many students from those industries. We have students working in the railroads, okay? We have students working in the marine industry and even the ski resorts. And I was thinking, I know there's more, but they'll come to me. Once you're hired in the industry and you get a job, the employer will register you as an apprentice. And then we also offer the apprenticeship level training. So if you complete foundation, you'll return 3 more times for ranging between 4 to 8 weeks each course, and to complete your apprenticeship. And at the end of that training, then you'll write your Red Seal exam, become a journey person in a very interesting and challenging trade. So welcome any questions for anybody.
Thanks so much, Brendan. I do see a couple questions about, job opportunities, which
I'll have a look here
directly in the Q&A. We'll get to that really shortly. Very interesting, all of these different specializations within the heavy mechanical trades. So it is really cool when you look at all the equipment that we have. For those who have joined partway through our presentation, this meeting is recorded, so you will be able to watch this again. We also will be sharing a couple of videos for you to take a look at. It's pretty much a virtual tour of our programs here. So when you get a chance, take a look at those links that we'll provide later on. And although today you heard a little bit of a brief overview of all of our different programs in automotive trades, you can attend this upcoming info session, which will go into a deeper dive into all of the programs. So the next one is on Tuesday, May 4th. Mark those dates down, and then you can sign up online at vcc.ca/info, and you'll get the meeting, the Zoom meeting link to that session. Okay, and if you are interested in seeing what the program and the students are up to, please follow them on social media. It's VCC Auto Body on Twitter and Instagram. They have a lot of fun, I can tell you that. So follow them for stories. And next we're gonna hear from an advisor to tell you about next steps and how to apply and what admission requirements you need. Today we have Domingo, who's a really nice advisor, to tell us a little bit about advising and his service area.
Myself. Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Domingo. I am one of the 6 academic advisors at Vancouver Community College. Transportation trade is one of my portfolios. So if you're interested in applying to any of our programs in transportation trades, you can do so. And there's, as a matter of fact, I encourage you to apply today or even tomorrow, because we are waiving the admission fee. So there you go, $35 free. And you can send that amount to my account. Just kidding. So anyways, let's just go back. So we do have each our programs in transportation trades. Obviously, they have admission requirements. And it's very, very simple. You can see that in the specific program web pages. and my job as an academic advisor is to guide you to apply and get into the program seamlessly. So if you want to apply to the program, I encourage you to do it online. Everything is online. Do not submit your application via email. No, we don't do that right now. You have to do it online. After you apply online, rather should I say, you need to email your transcripts or any of your documents to ro@vcc.ca, and I'm going to give you that email address in the chat box later on, just in case you want to apply today. Now, admission to or acceptance to the programs, or any of the programs in transportation trades, is pretty much based on first come, first qualified. Okay, what does that mean? It means when you apply to a program, say for example, auto collision, refinishing, you are actually applying to an actual intake. But does that mean I'm going to start on that particular intake that I applied to? And the answer is no, because there is a limited number of seats available. So again, once you apply to the program, once you submit your transcript and you have all the prereqs, all you have to do is wait for your acceptance letter. Now, going back, what if I don't have those prerequisites? What do I need to do? And this is the reason why I encourage you to speak to an academic advisor, because we will guide you. Now, for auto collision and auto refinishing, it's quite seamless. It's quite easy. All you have to do is talk to Keith, the good-looking guy right there, and he, once you get an approval from him, you're good to go. You don't need to submit your documents, because an interview will suffice. What about in auto service tech? Well, no, it's not. There is a specific requirement that you need to undertake before you get into the program. In other words, you need to do an assessment. That is, if you don't have the prerequisites, and it's quite simple. Again, I believe it's only like English 11 or Communications 12 and Math 10. There you go. So a lot of our students wanting to apply to any of our transportation trade programs is actually out of the country. I mean, they have education outside of Canada. So I encourage you to speak to an academic advisor, because we will be able to guide you with, like, do I need English, for example? Well, I come from Australia. Well, you don't need to, right? Because obviously in Australia, English is the first language. Or if you say, you know what, I don't have Math 10, but guess what? I have a degree in math from India. You don't need to upgrade your math just because you already have a degree. So that will, that is an equivalent, right? So again, I encourage you to speak to one of our academic advisors. Again, I'm only one of the 6, and I'm also going to give you my my email address later on. Now, what else do we do as academic advisors? We're pretty much source of information that you need in order to become successful in finishing your career choice, right? So in other words, we'll be able to guide you, for instance, like, oh, you know what, I want to apply for a student loan. How do I start? Well, speak to an academic advisor and we will guide you. Or I'm currently in the program right now, but I'm having some issue with my with my English or with my math. Well, we do have a learning center that we can assist you with and provide you with the link and so on and so forth. So in other words, there are many ancillary services in the college, and we will be able to hook you up pretty much. So again, that's all I can say, and I look forward to seeing you in the college, hopefully very, very soon. I believe it's in September we're going to be back, but fingers crossed. Okay, so again, we're going to have some question and answer later on. Please feel free to ask questions. If you need to specifically ask questions from me, you have the option there in the chat box. I promise I'm not going to bite ya. Ask questions, and again, I'm here to assist this amazing gentleman here If you have questions about the nitty-gritty details of the trades, for example, you know what, I don't know anything about auto service tech. Well, we have Greg Henderson. Or, you know what, I'm unsure whether I want to go into heavy equipment or truck. Well, Brendan is here. Or, you know what, I'm not really sure whether I want to go into auto collision or refinishing. Well, Keith is here. So pretty much we have all the gentleman for you to assist you with your career choices. All right, thank you, and
Thank you.
welcome again.
All right, and we're going to get into questions really shortly. Just, yep, here we go. So I know there was a couple of things happening in the chat. Carolyn, I'm going to invite you to maybe start off by asking them now, and we can have a discussion. And if you are, you know, if you're comfortable just unmuting yourself and asking your question directly, you can even, you know, turn on your video if you like to, so that we can have a little talk. Yeah, feel free. Carolyn, over to you.
All right. We've had a lot of really specific questions happening, and a more general one was, is it okay to send an email to the department heads about their specific trades? The answer is absolutely yes. If you go a little further up in the chat, their emails are all there. It's usually just their first initial followed by their full last name at vcc.ca. If you go to vcc.ca/TT for Transportation Trades, you'll find information on all of them there. Everybody's been really great about jumping in and answering the questions as we go. For any of the international students, there is an international specific advising session from 11:30 to 2 today, and Angela has put that link in the chat already. There was a question for Canadian residents. Is it advised to start with the foundation program?
We're all nodding there. Yes.
Yeah, I would chime in, especially with our trade. You know, taking the foundation program, I saw someone have a question saying, like, I have absolutely no background in mechanical, and I want to get into heavy duty. Well, you know, our foundation programs, we teach you from the ground up. You know, we start with safety. We teach you all the essential skills. We teach you how to do things properly, where sometimes if you try to do a direct entry into a trade, you know, your shop is really still concerned about you being productive and making money. And you don't always have the slower pace to to slow it down and really learn the correct way and why you're doing it that way. So you can really build a proper foundation of knowledge and skill. So I would always recommend the foundation programs.
I'd concur with Keith there that the foundation program, if you're coming in with little or no experience, you know, and I get it, you know, in today's world, we don't do a lot of repairs on our own vehicles anymore. And, you know, a lot of us don't live on farms anymore and things like that. So foundation, you know, offers a whole broad range of skills. And then you really got something to take to market when you go looking for a job. If we do offer a level 1, and that is for students who, as Keith mentioned, direct entry. And that's where an employer's hired them and signed them up on basically their natural skills and ability. And but the level 1 is a really, really condensed and really fast moving program. And they don't get, you know, nearly the time to develop and learn the skills and understand why. So foundation, absolutely, I strongly recommend it.
Thank you so much, both of you. Any other questions?
There was a question about long-term health risks associated with transportation trades. Does anybody want to address that?
I'll step in. I mean, because that's an interesting comment. When I, way back, and I won't tell you how far, when I was looking at what trade I'd like to get into, I had an automotive teacher in school says, oh, he says, you don't want to be a heavy duty mechanic. He says, they're broken, they're 50 years old. You know, that has not been my experience. That we have tools, we have all kinds of equipment to make the job, you know, not difficult. You don't have to break yourself. So the heavy part, and you know, they've been very up on reducing noise in the shop, so we don't have noise exposure. Ventilation, we don't have, you know, emissions from the trucks and the equipment and whatnot is, you know, pumped outside or reduced altogether. So no, overall, in the time that I've been in the trade, the long-term exposure hazards have been almost eliminated.
Yeah, I can kind of pipe in for a second too. You know, there's been a lot of stigma of about the auto collision and refinishing trade, where, you know, it's very unhealthy. And as much as I think what you find is the products that perform really well can be quite caustic and you know, some of them are carcinogens. But if you're not protecting yourself, that's when you see these negative, you know, health results. Technology is constantly changing and getting better. Like Brendan mentioned, you know, we have better tools that allow us to perform these tasks safer and without, you know, kind of hurting or damaging our bodies, maybe like they did in the past. Especially with coatings, now what is required by law, anytime you're spraying any sort of carcinogen, is you must wear what we call a fresh air or a supplied air hood. Basically, you have, it looks like a space helmet that you put on, and you get fresh breathable air that's generated from a compressor, you know, fully separated from your spraying area, kind of being pumped into your hood. So, you know, you're never in contact with this dangerous air that you filter and breathe in. You're getting beautiful, fresh, breathable air right from the get-go. We also, you know, here at VCC, we have a downdraft booth where we're really containing the chemicals as well. And health and safety, you know, especially at VCC, is priority number one. And then as you kind of graduate into the industry, there's a huge, huge concern with it. And they're very aware, and they're taking measures to make sure that shops are really following, you know, safety protocol. Michelle, Kurt, sorry, Michelle, I was just going to answer the question in the chat.
Sure.
I'm in my office and I can't wear my space helmet. I would love to, though. I'd love to show you because it's fun.
I also believe that one of the common courses in transportation trades is health and safety, and right. So if I'm not mistaken, I used to work in auto collision, and way, when was that? Maybe over 10, 15 years ago, and I'm one of the I think I was working as a program assistant at the time. So because I know I've seen the courses in transportation trades, and the common course there is health and safety. So I wouldn't even worry if that's your concern.
Great. And Michelle, if you do want to see what those helmets look like in action, Carolyn just popped a YouTube link in the chat. You can take a look at what it looks like. Hey, Carolyn, do we have any more questions?
There was an interesting question earlier. Why don't I see females there?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. We do have women in the industry. Okay, so as a matter of fact, one of our teachers in auto collision is Doreen Wong, and she's an amazing instructor, and I believe she was one of the first women instructor in the industry. So if you're gonna do auto collision and auto refinishing, and you're gonna be and she's gonna be your teacher, well, she's history. You know what I mean? She's one of the best.
That's great. And why don't we maybe just talk really briefly, because we are gonna come up to the end of the session, whether you know, how well do people do in the industry once they graduate, including both, you know, male and female students. Would anyone like to take that question?
Sure. We've gone through a very strong employment time, and even through this pandemic, our classes have been full. You know, it's been a very different training, believe me, but you know, it just shows that that they've maintained their jobs through this pandemic, and sadly, that's not the case throughout the economy. And we do have some women in the trade, and some very successful women as well. I would really like to see more. We're not well represented. And if you are interested in heavy mechanical trade, check out Work BC, because boy, there's some really good incentives to get into non-traditional trades, and some real things that help you there. And the women that have gone through, we just had an apprentice that went right through from foundation, all her apprenticeship training last Friday. And I know she'll be successful, and there's been several before her, but not enough.
Okay, thank you so much. I will like to let you know that there will be a copy of this presentation pretty soon. Really quickly, let's touch on about the question about placements. Are there placements within this program? And then we'll move on to next steps.
I'm assuming we're talking about job placement. You know, in our new foundation program, part of it, one of the courses is going to be working on your resume and you know, actively trying to get out there, and at first just apply to shops and you know, do interviews, but really working at trying to secure a job. You know, all of our instructors come from industry and still have very strong relationships with shops that you know, some very large shops like Richmond Auto Body and Craftsman Collision. So, you know, we hear when people are looking for a good technician, you know, we don't necessarily place every single student, you know, but the ones that really shine, the ones that are motivated and committed, are always the ones that we recommend. And we really do everything we can to help secure some sort of job for them. At the end of the day, you know, how you are as an individual and how you present yourself to the shop and how you actively are every day is what's going to secure your apprenticeship, right? There's nothing that we can do about that, but we can definitely, you know, let those shops know about our shining students.
Thanks so much, Keith.
Okay. Do we have time left?
Brendan?
Do we have any time left?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's our foundation program. We run 4 days a week. And once we've completed all the safety training, we actually do the resume and cover letter training right then. And we really encourage the students to go out and find work experience placements. Now, these are kind of volunteer. We have a large participation in the industry right across all the different trades. And they'll take the students in on a Friday. And that might just be sweeping the floor in the shop to get started. But, you know, if the students really show interest and are keen, the ones that get employment out of the end of the foundation course are largely the ones they get a job right from that work experience program. So that's been very successful for us, and it's well supported by industry.
Beautiful. All right, great. Thank you so much. Now we're just going to move on to last few things. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We also have their email addresses in the chat. But I just want to let you know that as a student at VCC, you have access to all of these different services. So we mentioned advising. There are bursaries and scholarships available to you in transportation trades. If you are an Indigenous student, we have that as well. We have elders who are available to speak with you. And we try to create a safe space for you as well. Disability services, if you are in need of, for example, an interpreter to, join in your classes and interpret things for you, this is something we offer too. And of course, our counselors, if you're having a really hard time, if you're stressed out, you can always book a one-on-one with them as well. And this is also really good. Our students love our free professional tutoring that we offer at our library and learning center. So I would encourage you to take advantage of that as well. Now, next steps. You heard all of this information. If you want to learn more again, attend an information session at vcc.ca/info. And then if you need to gather again all your documents, you can meet with an advisor. Domingo is one of them here. And if you're all set, you're ready to go, you're like, yeah, I want to apply. There's the link right there for you to apply. So vcc.ca/apply.
Just quickly before we go, we do have drop-in advising today and tomorrow, and 9 to 5. That's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And maybe Elizabeth can give you the link. So if you do want to reach me or one of the academic advisors either today or tomorrow, you please feel free. Okay, so we're going to send you the link to attend our drop-in advising. Thank you. There you go.
And there it is right there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And let's see. Okay, before you go, I do have to give you a couple codes for you to get some freebies. So if you are a domestic student, this is the promo code info 0421. Go to this link here, apply the code, and we'll waive off the $30 application fee for you. Okay, and then if you want to win $1,000 towards your tuition credit, there will be 3 chances for you to win. So please go to vcc.ca/experience and put in the code skills. All right, with that, I think we've reached the end of our presentation. If there aren't any more questions, we will see you very soon on either an info session or one of our services, or one of us here, one of our instructors here can answer your questions. Again, for those who joined late, this is being recorded and we will send you the recording. And as well, the presentation slides are in the chat. So thank you very much, everyone, for your time today, and we hope to see you very soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.